Hello and welcome to Fig Night, everybody. It is me, the OG Fig Kid. We have a very special show for you tonight. As usual, joining me, this guy right here, Mike Podcaster, and the Australian icon, the Thunder from Down Under.
Yeah, well, you can say the Blunder from Down Under. Both are right in their own right.
And we have a super special guest, so let's bring him in right now.
Oh, stop it.
It's our buddy,
it's Steve.
Dude, the collection looks like it's growing behind you.
What's up, fellas? It's always in rotation. I'm drowning in new samples, so I'm pulling old stuff out and putting new stuff in. So
fair enough. I do like the corner shelves, man. That's a very nice aesthetic. I'm digging it.
Oh, it's a must-have if you've got two walls of these bookcases. You got to get the corner piece.
I love it, man.
I love the way I could see from here that you have your Ultimate Editions stacked up in there, and that's what I want to do with mine.
I saw someone on in one of the groups post their Ultimate collection like this, and they had Slaughter like in the center in order, and I'm thinking like move him to the end, not like breaking up the flow, you know?
Yeah. Wow, looks great. I love it, and like I said, I'm redoing part of my basement to expand my show off of the stuff. But how you been, man? Welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. We had a wild WrestleMania week. It took me a little bit of time to recover, but I'm back in action now and ready for more and preparing for Comic-Con.
Awesome.
Let's talk about WrestleMania week because we all followed you through Instagram. What was it like being there that weekend? You know, like the first big WrestleMania back. It looked like a blast.
It was great to be in person, live with fans once again, seeing people, that a lot of us have known over the years, and some new faces. I mean, coming from around the world, literally, Chile, Japan, Korea, like everywhere. Pretty wild, pretty cool to have that familial feeling once again.
Yeah.
And a little weird at times, right? Getting away from the COVID era and masks and everything, and not a lot of mask wearing in Texas, and getting comfortable like nobody's wearing masks, and we take them off, and then some people get sick. So it is what it is. But that
flu.
Yeah, that's our new reality. And but hey, getting back to normal, it was cool. It was great to see everybody. Lots of excitement. Nothing beats seeing people reacting to things, whether it's our figures or Access or WrestleMania in real life. Nothing beats that. You have this weird like social media filter that goes on, and how people react on social media. Sometimes nobody ever reacts that way in real life, right? You get a real genuine, heartfelt reaction in real life. So I always really enjoy that.
It's the keyboard warriors that you don't have to worry about in real life. People that are so brave with the keyboard in front of them. But yeah, what an awesome show. And dude, I've got the first series of the Superstars line. I know Mike has it too.
Love them.
I love what we see coming up. These figures are amazing. I love them. Absolutely love them.
Thanks for that. Bill Beneke, legendary designer, works on those, designs those, and they were kind of like the surprise hit of the show for Access. Everybody was talking about Superstars. They had a great dio that our Mattel team created, and the surprises like Papa Shango. I know he was revealed a few days earlier, but he was on display. Undertaker, DiBiase, Mankind. So some real fun surprises that just look unbelievable in that form factor.
Yeah,
love the Mankind. Absolutely love the Mankind. Like I popped so hard. I was like, oh, I'm so glad I bought these and like started
goods,
early.
Man. Like the cloth goods are like top tier. It makes me want to invest into some of these figures, And speaking of like WrestleMania weekend, we saw a lot more even go down. We saw a ton of reveals. We're getting a new like Ruthless Aggression line. You know what I mean? We're getting the wave 2 of that. And I don't know, Elite 100 is around the corner as well. Mm-hmm. And so I'm excited for everything that's in the playbook right now.
Yeah, Ruthless Aggression, there were a very vocal group of fans who wanted more RA figures, and I was like, just you wait, and this is the anniversary year of Ruthless Aggression, so we were waiting for something purposeful, and now you guys have it, an RA line for at least 6 waves, and maybe some other maybe some other surprises thrown in as well over the course of time that the line runs. So it's a good time. I mean, we want to support every generation of fandom, right? And I think whatever generation you love most is represented in some way. So it's a really good time right now.
Yeah.
Well, something Mike pointed out to me is when you put the superstar packaging next to each other, how it builds. You could actually like Hogan's arm is on, was it Honky Tonk Man or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, that's so amazing. I love even the packaging of these figures. Like,
yeah, our packaging designer George had that idea of doing this mural basically once you line up all the packages. I was adamant of using like that style guide type art, and then he took it to the next level by wanting to do the murals, and it's just like fantastic. So I'm bummed because I want to display them that way, but that's a lot of space. So, I'm kind of trying to figure out what to do with my Superstars collection. So you can still see a mural style, but as the waves keep rolling and there's no end in sight, I don't know what I'm going to do down the road.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for, again, making me have to buy 2 of all the Superstars. Honestly, I love them. I can't wait to get Series 2. I see they're starting to hit some shelves. I've seen posters on social media, photos of them in Walmart store. So I'm excited to get mine. I pre-ordered them from Walmart, and
they're already hitting Walmart Canada, which they have a different timetable for aisle resets and whatnot. So they're getting them a little bit early, but any time now they should be rolling out in the US as well, because we just set planogram with Series 1 here in the US, and as soon as we get to a good point with sell-through of Series 1, we'll roll into Series 2.
What's it like being at Mania, and just for you guys, it must be so rewarding to see people walking through and see their reaction to this stuff.
Oh, it's great because, like I said, you get genuine reactions. My favorite thing to do is to get everything set up and take a step back from the booth right before opening. And they open the doors and people run in, whether that's Access or Comic-Con. And then you see real reactions. You see facial expressions and real reactions. And there's no time to be like, oh, what am I going to say to be snarky on social media or pick it apart, right? You get like a real reaction like, oh, my God, holy crap, they made whoever or they made whatever. And I think that's more real, right? And that's what matters more than dissecting inconsistencies or mistakes or whatever. So it's one of my favorite parts of live shows, of just seeing facial reactions, genuine reactions to things. I recommend anyone who has a chance to debut a product or something you worked on creatively, like, to take that approach. It's very rewarding.
Absolutely. I love the displays that you guys set up, like the backstage with the Wreckin', what is it? The Wreckin' crane? Or, if you
the Wreckin' Rampage rig, and I think that's the first time I've said the whole name of it. But it's a rig, much like Becky's and Bad Bunny's in WWE or Diesel's, and it's got a incredible fun wrecking ball for the kids on the back that you can break through walls or whatever. So those dios are a lot of fun, and Robert Rudman, he's the one who does a lot of the posing and the dios, and he has a great time doing that. So.
I'm a terrible figure poser, so I'm jealous. It looks so good.
Speaking about figure posing, Mike does great figure picks. I see Tom, you do great figure picks. But speaking of, oh, stop it, guy. Even Steve does great figure picks. But speaking of something that caters towards those figure photographies or photographers, I should say, is the Ultimate Edition line. Now I was on the forums and I saw you said the idea of Ultimate Edition multi-packs are inevitable. I want you to speak on that for a little bit, whether it comes to how it's being distributed and how the Mattel team are working on it, etc. What are you guys doing to fund this and make this a possibility?
No. No kidding.
I thought that's perfect setup, and then just no. But
Ultimates are on fire, like, to say the least. Like, I think the line has exceeded many people's expectations of it. And you've seen it expand into Amazon exclusives and now Target exclusives, and there's going to be more, right? So, you know, I'm one who always looks for the right opportunity to get in good ideas. Like if a slot opens up, if a retailer says we need something and it's a general idea, I already have like 10 ideas that we can just slip right in there, right? So, you know, this applies, right? Ultimate multi-packs makes sense. One would have happened already, but the stars kind of like didn't align at the last minute, so we had to pivot. So we were like right there. It would have happened, you know, this year actually. So, you know, it's just, you know, putting those ideas on the back burner until another opportunity like that arises again, and it may have happened already. And you know, we'll reveal those, you know, when the time comes. But I will say, from a consistency standpoint, I want to keep this going, right? You know what I'm pointing. I don't even know where I'm pointing. You know, when you line them up on your shelf, I want consistency. Like even Slaughter, who has a different package, has that consistency in graphics on the side. So if you put them at the end, everything looks really nice.
Not in the middle.
But maybe they'll be more like Slaughter that fit his style, right? So you have all your weird executions at the end and your rectangular box and your standards and, you know, everywhere else in your display. More will come. They'll all fit in with this look generally. Multi-packs, you know, we're going to keep exploring and keep expanding. But it will fit in your aesthetic here of package you can keep, package you can bookend and look fantastic on shelf, and, you know, figures you could take in and out of packaging and store parts and the whole 9 yards.
It's amazing. Like I had told you already, the most excited I've been for Ultimate Editions. I love the whole line, but seeing that Hogan and Mr. T that have just hit ringside, like I was 10 years old when that happened. And Hogan wearing that belt, that's the belt I think of. So I can't wait for mine to get here from ringside. I had to order, of course I had to order two of each, have them closed, because I
ordered out 10 of each, man. I had to get all their stock. I had to get all their stock for myself.
Is it fun and challenging going back to figure out what's going to be in the next set to try and appease everybody, to give everybody a little something?
It's easier now. At the beginning, the line had to prove itself, and we kind of had that strategy of like one modern talent and one legend. And now we just want to make the best waves we can with the best talent available to us, because it's proven, right? So then the handcuffs come off, and then, you know, myself and Bill and anyone else who's involved in those combos can just like put our heads together and make the best decisions. Is it hard? I don't think so yet. Because there's so many talent who still need an Ultimate figure. What's challenging is sometimes things happen like such and such didn't re-sign their contract yet, so you put them on hold for a while, or you know, someone gets fired. Like those things, you know, can blow up plans. And you've seen some repeats here and there. A lot of times those repeats are because of a contract issue, or whether it's, you know, negotiations are ongoing for someone to stay with the company, or someone leaves the company, and you're like, okay, we only have time now to tool up new heads, right? Because everything else is more complex. So I know I see that comment a lot, like, oh, we're getting repeats. There's reasons for that. You know, we're not intentionally trying to do a bunch of repeats. We know that people want AJ and Seth and Sasha, and so many of these new modern talents, and plenty of legends still need to be done. You know, Razor Ramon being high on my list. You know, Sergeant Slaughter, request for him to return because of Comic-Con. I know I just talked about repeats, but I think he warrants it. So there's so many more to do. So I don't think it's hard yet. It's the other stuff. It's navigating all the things outside of talent figure selection that can be tough sometimes.
No,
Did you
absolutely.
expect the Ultimate Edition line to take off like it has?
Yes.
I mean, you have
I feel like it's the future of collecting, between like Ultimate Editions and now the Supreme line from Jazzwares. Like this, that's my blood flowing now.
I was already collecting the Mafex and Figuarts figures, right? And it's a similar execution to that. And NECA does great Ultimate figures. So, you know, I knew that there was already demand for something like that. And then, you know, social media being what it is, action figure photography, whatever skill level you're at, if you're just like a stand-up vanilla pose, or if you're elaborate with strings and the whole 9 yards, like everyone's doing something like that. So I believed in it from the start. I mean, I helped create the line with Bill McKenna. So yes, I absolutely believed in it. And to see it now, I think it's the longest running line of its type because it's that defining moments slot. You know what I mean? It's that defining moments entrance grade slot. And it's like, it's taken on a life of its own way beyond anything that those lines were ever able to do.
And we don't want them to go anywhere ever.
I just got the newest Ultimate Edition Rock. I was doing the People's Elbow. The easiest thing I've maybe had to pose in my whole life. Like it's right there for you. Like the figure does it for yourself. I even sent it to Mike and Tom, and it's great. And
yeah.
I'm glad everyone's loving it. I'm seeing some comments here, like Matt Goldberg just gave like the hands up for it. It's you guys as well, right? Like you guys adopted it as just an important form factor or line as elites. And that's why it's so successful. You see this is something you want to keep around. It's being supported. It's being talked about. Figures are being anticipated. And you're gobbling up the exclusive stuff as well, whether that's Comic-Con or retail specific. So, I think between the vision and the support, like it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We saw WrestleMania weekend. There was another diorama of a Raw stage.
Yes.
Which kind of brought me back to a couple of years ago when we saw a diorama of the new gen arena. Is this to gauge interest for what could possibly be another crowd-funded topic in the future?
I mean, of course, right? Anytime we build a dio, I mean, the intention isn't always to gauge interest first and foremost. It's to house whatever is going to be in the dio. But yes, also we're there to listen to you, and we're checking social media to see if you guys want something like that. A Raw stage is a no-brainer, right? It's just like insanely complex and expensive. So there's just like so much work to do to make it accomplishable because, we hear like, oh yes, I want it, but how much do you want it? How much do you want to pay for something like that? That's the real question. Yeah. I want it, but I don't want it for $1,000, right?
$3 on a handshake.
Yeah, right. So there's a lot of work to be done, and we're always, working on things like that, whether it's officially moving forward or we're just exploring, right? So I would put that in the exploring area right now because it's crazy. That thing's crazy. It had smoke. It's gigantic. There's so many pieces to it. So I wouldn't say that something like that is like something you're going to see in the coming months or whatever, but we are definitely like trying to see how that could be feasible as an item.
It's massive. It's beautiful. The first thing that sparked my eye, I was like, because I grew up. That was my era, and not that the new gen wasn't, but I kind of faded in from the new gen into the RAAS War era, and like seeing that in person, or not in person, but just on the internet, it was mind blowing, breathtaking. I was like, oh my goodness, and take the pyro out of it, whatever you have to do. But I think there's a big want for collectors. We have so many Attitude Era themed figures, especially with the DX. The DX really sold it. You had China, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, Triple H all on the stage doing their poses, and man, I would instantly be like I'll go in the credit card debt for that.
Well, I hope the sentiments are there across the board with all collectors because if that thing were to go forward, like it would need a lot of support. But we'll try. We'll do our best, and know that if it's feasible, I'll find a way to bring it to you guys to try to get it crowdfunded.
Are we going to see another crowdfunded project this year, or is that still to be determined?
TBD. Okay. We haven't delivered the last yet. Maybe we'll wait a couple months, even beyond the Comic-Con timeframe to do it. Like we have to see, there's so many variables. It's different. It's like running an independent business when you do something like that's crowdfunded, right? So it's a lot tougher than your standard, established toy line where it's a well-oiled machine and it's just like keeps going no matter what, and like you can make a few missteps, but nothing's really going to majorly affect it. But this one is all these crowdfunds are very complex, and when I say the last one nearly killed me, it really did. Like I was doing interviews every night and working during the day, and
I think I was one of those interviews.
So. No, I mean I loved I love doing them, right? Like that it's not a problem, but like it's just like there's no life, right? Like I was in super great shape right before the crowdfund and in horrible shape after the crowdfund. I should have taken before and after pictures, but it takes its toll on you. It's very entrepreneurial, right? So when we do this next one, we want to make sure we have all our ducks in a row to minimize some of that, and just to make sure that whatever we do is something you really want and ultimately successful.
Yeah, I can't imagine, because I know what it was like for us going out there trying to get
you were right there with us.
But for you guys who had even more invested it, like we really wanted it, but you guys did the work. So to see it come through to you, especially the way it spiked that last day with the Macho Man, that was just awesome feeling. I know we were all messaging back and forth with each other, and at one point I'm like, if it is, I think I messaged you, Steve, like if it hits this point by 3 o'clock, we're rocking. And it hit that point, and then we got everything. So I can't wait. Is there any update on the time frame of when we might be getting it yet?
Sorry, what did you say first, Nick?
Oh, I was gonna say, in that, like, we created, or you guys created a like 1 of 5,000 or however many was made of that Macho Man for the early bird thing. So that's even like its own special thing. But Tom, I'll let you continue as well with the time and date.
Yeah, so Tom, you asked about updates for it. We just saw another updated sample today that's essentially final. We're going to start shooting that, shooting packaging as a whole. We gave you a tease of packaging at Access with the included extra diorama. So, I mean, it's very, very soon that you're going to see updated final visuals, packaging reveal most likely coming first. Everything's looking fantastic. The Doink figure and Diesel figure have an evolution to the butterfly shoulders with a new material that makes them even tighter, but still very posable, if that makes sense.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
It's a different material, and they'll hold pose. And I know some of the butterflies before, sometimes there was a little bit of looseness, maybe a little bit too loose. So this solves that problem. Wait till you get them in hand. I think you'll all love the evolution there. But kudos to our engineering team, because they're just constantly trying to improve and make things better, and that's just like the tip of the iceberg of improvements on Ultimates that are going to happen over the next like year to 2 years.
Here's an awesome comment. I wanted you to see this comment from one of our loyal watchers. Just says, thank you, Steve. Just thank you for all that you do. This stuff you guys roll out make collecting so fun. I just bought a home and I'm excited to deck out the basement with many Mattel figs. And that's just a sentiment from so many of us.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Austin, on the new home, and post those pictures and tag me of your basement when it's complete. I can't wait to see the collection pics. And it's so meaningful, right? Because we're all collectors here. I'm a collector here. And when I do these things, like everything I do has the collector in mind. And I want to deliver things that we haven't gotten yet in the 10 plus years at Mattel, and even, the Jacks before us. So, I'm excited to keep that going and just deliver more surprises. So I appreciate every comment like that.
Yeah. Speaking awesome. of surprises like that as well, last time I talked to you, Steve, was around November, and you were in the talks of implementing interchangeable heads, or swappable heads, I should say, onto basic figures. Has there been any more discussion on that or improvements on that? And just talking that a little bit.
It's a go. I don't know what wave it's gonna happen to start, the full rollout, but it's absolutely happening.
Cool.
It might be the 11-1 wave, which would be the first wave of 2023. So Ringside might get that, maybe October-ish. But I'm just guessing, but I know it's a go. It's happening. It's just a matter of what exact wave it starts in.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to bring you back to the Mattel Creations for a minute, because I got daughters and they love their Barbies and stuff like that. I'm seeing a lot of the cool aesthetics that they're putting up on there on the website and stuff. Is there maybe a need or a want for making individual releases through Mattel Creations, like a Doink with a real fitting coat, or just an example, a Ric Flair with a very outlandish robe, or just something along those lines.
Do you mean like a Barbie or a
Well,
doll?
not like along the Ultimates line, but like with more decked out attire, maybe, or deco, or like something that you could probably spend like a $50 price market on, not so much a 30, for, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. You're gonna see more exclusives on Mattel Creations as time goes by. I'm hoping to reveal maybe one or two at Comic-Con. But yes, more single figures, maybe multi-packs, bundles.
Right.
The possibilities are endless, right?
When we get Steve with just that one word answer, we're on to something.
I'm okay with it. I appreciate the effort that goes into the like. I look at the Barbies. I don't buy them, but I see the detail, the whole picture there. Like, they look, as a collector, they look awesome, and I'm like, man, that would be really cool to implement into a wrestling collection of sorts, or something, like maybe something a little more of the lines of like get like 2 robes with Ric Flair, and maybe change of boots or something. I don't know exactly what to do with it, but it's just something. I think it would be really amazing.
You open up the possibility of different price points, because retail is kind of set, right? You have sizes for package. It has to be, under a certain size for packaging. Price points that are set, right? Like within the parameters of price points. So this one allows you to have some wiggle room. So if something is like it needs to be charged another $10 or $15, like we'll explore that and see. I think we're there where you guys as fans will want to buy into that and not be, because going back a few years, I think we were all trained for the retail price points, right? Like $20 for an elite figure, period, right? And if it was more, like, you started to scratch your head and wonder why. But now I think we kind of get why, right? If it's a complex packaging execution, or there's complex soft goods or something, maybe it does warrant a different price point and execution on a website like Mattel Creations or Ringside.
Absolutely.
So going back to the packaging, rumors galore lately about plastic being removed from packaging and not seeing the figures. Is that anything we have to worry about? Is there truth to that?
I mean, there is a Mattel initiative, so I'm not like leaking company secrets here. You can look at Mattel's packaging initiatives on the company website. There's a goal to, I don't remember the specifics off the top of my head, but there's a goal to hit by 2030, I believe. So you are going to see changes to things. You've already seen changes happen, and most people probably didn't even know. Like Jurassic World line has very minimal excess plastic on packaging, if not none. Bend and Bash has no excess plastic. Even the ties are like a cardboardy type string. I don't know the exact material, but that's very eco-friendly. So you've already seen this happen. The Reckon figures, very minimal.
Right. Figures,
right.
Yeah.
So we've already been doing this for quite some time, and I saw in the forums like, Mattel's not doing anything. I mean, yes, it's already been available even in the WWE line, right? So there will be changes. I don't know how that impacts collector figures yet, but I mean, with myself on board and Bill on board, and even my manager, I was talking to him, earlier this week. We want to make sure things are done right for collector. I don't know what that's going to look like, to be honest with you, right? When we get a year or 2 years out. But I think we're in a great place even already. Even when you look at Ultimate Edition, like, that packaging is not meant to be wasted, right? It's meant to be kept. Like, you can open them and you can have your bookshelf lined up with them. So to me, that's already a step in the right direction of at least reducing waste. So maybe there's a way to combine everything into one, beautiful collector friendly picture, to where, like, it's a great package. Nobody's going to want to throw this out. We've reduced the plastic a bit. Maybe there's a way for everyone to win in this. We'll see.
Yeah,
And I think it also helps having you and Bill and all these guys who are actually collectors working there. So you could give us the best of both worlds. You could fix it up, but yet the collectors still get what they want. So.
Yeah. I mean, there's a responsible way to do things, and with a collector mind to it, to live in the reality of what these figures are, you know. And I think across the board, not just speaking as a collector and a fan, like I think you'll see a continued evolution of this with everybody, right? To get to a sweet spot, to just like, you know, trial and error. Oh, okay, this isn't working out, let's try this, and then you'll get to a point where everyone kind of like, you know, is agreeable to the new way of doing things and settles into it. And it's the right thing to do, right? You know, it is totally the right thing to do. Not be wasteful, be mindful of excess, be mindful of waste. Yeah, we'll get there together, and we'll listen to you guys on social, of course. We'll see what the competition is doing, and we'll make good decisions.
Yeah,
exciting. You know, it's more comforting hearing it come from you guys like that. Knowing that we don't have to worry. We're not going to get a package where we can't see a figure at all, because I'm a MOC guy and a Lucy guy.
Yeah.
So
it's hard.
Really,
Yeah.
really awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not ones to sit here and name wrestlers saying, "Oh, is this person coming out?" But one thing
let's spend the next hour doing that one by one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we got a lot of fan questions. It's all, when's this person? You know, and when's X, Y, Z?
We had seen a render of Chainsaw Charlie. Is there any update on that one?
I think if you purchase through Ringside, you probably will have him before the end of the year.
Is he up there?
No. But I'm just saying, you know, with where he's scheduled, I think if you purchase through Ringside, you'll have him in hand before end of year.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay. Good.
Need my Chainsaw Charlies.
Another thing that's kind of, you know, taken the world by storm. I'm full of these puns. I'm a mark myself, but there's been quite recently. There's been some issues through distribution with Amazon, including the Triple H Ultimate Editions, and I just want to know if
it wasn't
there's anything if there's anything being worked out to get that certain Ultimate Edition or even some more Amazon exclusives out to the customers, like distributed more. Is there any work on that?
I don't know. Well, you know, I have seen questions. I don't know if all the Triple H's that Amazon purchased from us have shipped already. I just don't have, you know, that type of detailed info. But I do know that there is a demand still for Hulk, still for Warrior, probably Triple H still. Shawn, of course, is coming still, and then followed by Goldberg. And those are eternal, perennial guys and looks that can live on beyond like a normal short period of time that some of these things are available. So in a perfect world, you know, Amazon would agree and maybe do another reorder of them or something like they did with Hulk, right? Like Hulk did finally, I mean, it's going to take a while to get him, right? Because of, I mean, it's a complicated world right now, and supply chain and all those issues. So, you know, it is going to take a little bit of time to get that Hulk out. So maybe the same thing can happen for some of those other figures, including Warrior and Triple H. So, you know, talks are happening. I mean, no promises, right? Because it is ultimately up to, you know, the retailer's business needs and what they think they want to do for their particular business. But it would make sense, right? It would make sense for those particular talent in those looks to be made available once again.
Even we saw the Batista Ultimate Edition as well, which is also a Target exclusive, another exclusive. Is there? Because I heard people are having trouble finding them in stores as well. It's like very hard to track down. Yeah. So is there any plans on that as well as the other Amazon exclusives that are coming out as well? Is there more efficiently?
I don't think Batista just has fully hit yet because of the supply chain issues. He's probably
because there was a set date for like September, wasn't there? Something like that?
No. He was always scheduled for spring. And Randy Savage, who we showed at WrestleMania, is the fall figure, right? So I think that was just a weird. They set those street dates. Those street dates, to clarify, are their planogram reset dates, right? Yeah. So when you go to a store for WWE figures and they deny you, that's because they're trying to hold them so that when they have to reset their planogram, they have everything there and they could just set the planogram and they're done. So, you know, that's, you know, unless it's like a movie or something, there's no Mattel mandated street dates typically.
Yeah.
Like Jurassic would have street dates, right? Because there's a movie tied to it, and Universal is probably like, we don't want, you know, images of this dinosaur coming out ahead of this date. But we don't typically have that on WWE. So that's the street date thing. Batista, I think he's probably just stuck in transit, right? He's set for planogram. If you go to Targets that have reset their planogram, you'll see a tag just for Batista. So he has a dedicated spot. So he's just like Kane and Undertaker and the Legends figures that were all pretty plentiful over the past few months. The same should be for said for Batista. So fingers crossed, it's just a in transit issue at the moment. Maybe they're stuck in a shipping container, or maybe they're in a truck, you know, moving across country, whatever it is. But there should be more. I feel like, you know, looking at preliminary numbers of that, it's just like you barely scratch the surface on the production run of that item.
100%. I see a lot of people posted about it, and they're like freaking out, and I'm like, just chill, give it another month or two. I don't see series come until a month later than most people do at my local Target or Walmart, and it's just a patience game. Like, and I feel like we grow very impatient these days, so it's like breathe.
And I've seen Alexa personally, right? And you know, these things these things are similarly timed, but I haven't seen Fiend yet. I haven't seen anyone find Fiend at Target, so I think it's the same thing. Like, it's just, you know, however Target ordered them, you know, they're just like stuck, you know, somewhere between China and the US.
Yeah. Crazy times. So J-Bone brought up a great question. I have a question with Series 100 looming. Are there ideas on that Series 100? And when can we hear the lineup potentially? We know you did a big lineup for the basics when they hit 100, so we're looking forward to the Elites 100.
Yeah, Series 100 is going to be special. Plans are locked into place already for that.
No, I'm just kidding.
So, you know, we are fine tuning some of the details, but largely, like, you know, we're ready to rock and roll with that. It'll be a really cool wave with some bonus stuff and surprises thrown in. Maybe Comic-Con for a reveal. I'm not 100% sure, because that's a larger discussion, because we want to make a big deal out of that, you know, with WWE and our retail partners and everything. But I would say, you know, no real information on that until at least Comic-Con, but maybe even a little bit later. We'll see.
Gotcha. We have this guy
it'll live up to
Sorry, what was the question?
This guy Magic is saying, when will Mattel do their own version of the AEW Unrivaled Supreme?
We did it first with Ultimates. You were there. You were there, Magic.
Insider.
He said he was gonna come on and troll you, so it's fun.
And heckle in the comments. He said his words. Goodbye, horses. But
Magic, you left us high and dry and didn't go to Frankenson on Sunday.
Well, since Magic's here, what I know it's usually a year turnaround, but were you guys anticipating Cody coming back a little early? Or you guys got that like a little fast start in the game?
No. You know, sometimes WWE will give us a heads up on things. Cody was just speculation up until his music hit at WrestleMania. Like, I mean, we all knew, right? We all knew, but then, you know, it was still a surprise enough to be a fun surprise at the event. And that's okay. You know, that's okay. You know, if it takes another couple of months to get a figure out, you know, so be it.
It's worth it, right? It's fun. I was expecting Bastion Booger to come back and make a big reappearance here. So Cody was like a disappointment to me, but it's still awesome.
I wanted Mantar and a Max Moon tag team versus Seth.
Oh my goodness.
It's like being there for the Cody return. You know, I haven't, I can't imagine when you heard the music hit. And
this Mania, I mean, both nights were phenomenal in person. The crowd being so stoked. You know, obviously there was a live WrestleMania last year, but like this one just seemed, you know, just even more legit.
This one was
for some
like
reason.
back to normal if you can, you know. This one.
Yep. And the Cody thing went over so extremely well. The fans were just like ecstatic. And like I said, everyone knew, but like just the little bit of uncertainty, like, you know, made the surprise, you know, that much more special.
Absolutely.
Austin, you know, seeing that both nights of Austin in person was so special. I mean, I was at the last match at 19. So it was great to be at this one as well. My
yeah,
first,
you know that Austin was a shocker because at the Mattel store at the Access, all the Stone Cold Elites were just all gone. All sold out,
That was
the defining moments popped up.
that was a
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
surprise. That was a fun surprise. We didn't know that Austin figure was going to be there. That defining moments. We did partner with a distribution company who wanted more of that figure, so that was a new run of that one, and that
Wow.
happened.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, maybe a year or two ago, because if you look on social, you saw some people finding those at WWE live events here and there, right? Like last year at some point.
Yeah.
So WWE Shop must have just like loaded up in time for Mania. So that was a good call on their part. I even bought one because I didn't have that one in package.
Wow.
Yeah. So Austin, I mean, those figures were flying off the shelf. And I mean, super special to see his true final last match. I guess for now.
Yeah.
I don't know. After hearing his comments, he said he's there. If Vince calls him up for next WrestleMania, he wouldn't say no. So
yeah, we'll see.
It was a fun time seeing him there, and
Rock versus Austin next Mania.
If you ever do those epic moment packs again, we need a Stone Cold and Steve Austin and Vince McMahon stunner pack.
That would be awesome.
maybe be like those. Which was the
we need the
Jax
Stone
line where
Cold
it's
head
like,
with him spitting out the beer, laughing as he after.
which one was the Jax line where it's like the finishing moves? Was it that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe you get that could be a two-pack. Maybe
Yeah,
on that, but
I'm not going to present that to Vince.
I do have a question. Is a name like Johnny Knoxville off the tables for you guys to make in the future since he wrestled at WrestleMania? Like, I'm a big Jackass fan, and like I just thought it was a cool moment, and I was just curious to see like your thoughts behind it, not just in a Mattel aspect, but just as a fan base. Like, what did you think of Knoxville being there with Sami Zayn? I thought it was a really entertaining match, super fun, super silly.
I'd love to see it. I mean, we did Gronk, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really just comes down to talent availability, being under contract, which includes action figures, and that deal being long enough to actually be able to produce an action figure, right? Because sometimes
100%.
someone's in and out of WWE so quickly, and that contract is just for that short period of time, and you can't get a toy out. Like, it's just not going to happen. So, I mean, Johnny is completely like fair game. Should we gain access to him?
Yeah, I think he would be super down for that.
I mean, the Jackass history with WWE goes back, when the John
Steve-O.
the Raw general manager days and Johnny's, he was on Raw at least once, years ago prior to this current run. So, I mean, I think fans love him. That match went over so well with people who appreciate that type of wrestling, right? I mean, there's some people who just don't like it and thought it was abomination, but I mean, that is part of wrestling, and for what it was perfectly executed.
I thought it was as a wrestling enthusiast, I thought it was silly and fun, and just it was a good break from everything else for the whole weekend. Like, you got a lot of hours of the stuff. Yeah, there we go.
Let's point out what Magic is saying here. He did draw the ultimate Ronda Rousey concept image, and when we were just talking about it, I thought that was the case, but I didn't want to just say it out loud. So thank you for confirming, Magic. So Magic also had a hand in the creation of that line and that Ronda figure.
And that was line 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was one of the first.
How that works out. Wow.
Yep. Yep. I mean, we're all a family, right? Yeah. I don't want to like pull the curtain back too much, but it's just like you have this group of friends who are like working on all these competing lines, but like we're all buddies. So it's like you have a group of friends like controlling like the wrestling action figure world right now. So it's kind of fun and cool. And sometimes people will be like, "Oh, Steve, I bet he hates that they did this AEW thing," and I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna buy it. I like it, like and my buddy
collectors. That's the thing, right?
And my buddy designed it on top of it, and he killed it. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Wait, AJ Styles is friends with the Young Bucks? What's going on?
Right.
I love to see an interaction between all you guys on social media and everything. I think. And I think the competition, like it's good for everybody having both companies. Like, I saw on your ringside interviews that there's some new articulation coming to some of the figures.
I teased a little bit earlier in our chat here, Evolution's coming to Ultimate Edition specifically. Some of them might be extremely noticeable. Some of them may be subtle, like the butterfly shoulder improvement, I think is a subtle thing, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be continuously things like that implemented. And it might just be me casually telling you guys, like the butterfly thing isn't going to be like a big announcement where we dedicate an Elite Squad video to it, right? It's going to be more for hardcore fans, chatting like this on social, we'll talk about it on social media. And some things will be, Comic-Con worthy, where we'll show you an improvement at Comic-Con or something similar. So always improvements. I mean, I feel like with Ultimate Edition especially, like that line very much benefits from constant evolution.
Yeah, much like anything does.
Yep. Is there any chance we're going to be seeing the all jointed waists coming to Ultimate Editions like the Jazzwares lines have?
Maybe. That's a huge change, right? You're scrapping the torso and that lower torso, upper leg portion, and starting from scratch. So that makes it difficult. I mean, AEW was able to do it because they're starting from scratch and doing something new. So when you have a huge tool bank, like for elites, let's talk about elites. So you have a tool bank for elites that's just like, 10 years old and expansive. You have to be smart with what you're doing because you have to replace everything. Every type of torso, every type of lower torso, upper legs, like everything has to be replaced. Or do you innovate and do double jointed arms across the board, right? So it's like you have to make those decisions. And things will continue to happen and we'll evaluate as we go.
It evolves over time. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's much like when Jax did Ruthless Aggression figures, and they moved into the Deluxe Aggressions. They didn't go back and completely revamp the small 6-inch scale. They kind of made bigger figures and did their thing and added a little bit more articulation. So I'm cool for the evolution, man. I think it's fun.
I think it's a lot of fun. Like I said, I love the competition, like having two different lines and how they can interact with each other because they're the same scale.
Yeah,
I love everything being the same scale, or roughly. There's things that are just a little bit too short or just a little bit too tall, but like all in all, like if you're doing some photos,
it's better than Jax with your GI Joe back in the day.
Right. Like the Liger, the Storm Collectibles Liger is too big for a Liger in comparison to a Mattel or an AEW figure, right? But with the photography, you can cheat the scale,
absolutely,
with, moving stuff around. So it's all good.
Like Mean Gene used to spread his legs when he was interviewing taller guys, so you make him look smaller.
Exactly.
You got to make it work, right?
Mean Gene, love the Mean Gene.
Even Andre stood on a box, right? During that old Vince McMahon classic interview.
Oh, right.
Did he really?
Yeah. He had like a big, like one of those little step boxes
to make him look even bigger. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Andre box for that, and then the Andre angle, which is they would always have the cameraman get down really low to make Andre look even taller for those entrance shots.
Would we possibly be able to see an Andre box included in a figure in the future?
If you want us to waste money on a box, tooling up a box instead of something else, sure.
Like a little milk crate accessory.
Right.
Don't listen to Mike's idea for that.
Hey, I'm full of innovative.
Includes box. Yeah, includes box burst.
First time in the line box.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's hysterical.
All right, sorry guys, no new titles.
Yeah, no.
Pulling money's going to the box.
Exactly. Well, I'd hope so. Honestly,
titles does Andre need to carry? All right, we'll figure it out.
If you're a mock collector with the boxes anyway, you have something to collect loose now, which is just more boxes.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
there you go.
Your own personal collection, other than figures, do you collect anything besides figures and toys?
Any boxes?
I have a lot of boxes, a lot of empty boxes and brown boxes I'm always trying to get rid of. I collect graphic novels. I'm on an omnibus kick right now. I'm trying to get the Claremont Cochrane full run of X-Men.
Nice.
I can't wait for the DC Who's Who Omnibus Volume 2 and the Marvel Universe Volume 2 to come out. Bill McKenna, thank you for that expensive hobby that I've adopted from you.
Oh wow, yeah. Bill to blame.
Yeah. I'm still a fan of physical media, so I love Blu-rays, especially steelbooks.
Yes.
So I'm a sucker. I buy all the Marvel and DC movies and really fun action and sci-fi movies on Blu-ray, especially steelbook. God, what else? I mean, action figures galore, of course, like every brand you can think of. Like, I love, pins are deadly, so I like pins, but I do try to avoid collecting those because they are kind of useless at the end of the day. They're fun to see, and there's amazing, talented people who create them, and then I get them, and I'm like, what am I going to do with this now? You know?
Yeah.
So pins kind of got the axe, but yeah, I am definitely a collector at heart, and it's easy for me to get the bug of collecting something. And like I said, most recently, the deadly and expensive omnibus collection.
It is the life of a collector is just terrible because you say I'm not going to buy something, I'm not going to buy it, and then you buy one, and all of a sudden you need to be a completist on the whole thing. It's how I got started with the Funko Pops. I avoided them, and then I think Piper came out.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, oh, I got Piper, and then now I have I think every WWE Funko Pop.
It just takes one thing to get you hooked on collecting something new, or suck you back into a line that maybe you gave up on. And it's kind of why some of the strategy with our line is like something for everyone, because it's like it's just going to take that one thing, to be like, oh my god, they made the Goon. Okay, now I want now I want every Goofy character that I can remember, and then you like kind of expand your collecting. You're like, well, okay, well now I want every person who was a Goofy character and then evolved into a good character, right? And then it just, then you live in this and you might die in a toy avalanche one day. Like
that's what we're all here for, right?
It happens eventually to the best of us.
Right.
Like, I just got these new shelves and I'm swarming in figures. So
this line comes to mind. Like I didn't need any of these, but I was like, I seen the They Live one. I was like, all right, we're good.
This is a good question that just came to mind. So you do these yearly or bi-yearly, these 2 per wave kind of series, these little tiny series here and there. Do we have anything planned for this year, maybe next year?
Similar to Hollywood, you mean?
Yeah, something like that. Like the Decade of Domination was only like a couple lines.
Oh, okay.
And stuff like that, yeah.
I think Ruthless Aggression took that spot.
Because that's going on for 6 lines, you said. Well,
I pushed it. Yeah. I pushed it to live on. There's more juice to be squeezed out of RA, and it wouldn't do the theme justice to cut it off at 2. So based on the initial reception, I was able to convince the players that we should keep it around for a little bit. But its time is ticking. Just so no one's surprised. When it moves on to a new theme. I'm glad it's being pushed to 6, because there was that whole kind of coming together on social media that people saw. They were claiming we weren't seeing enough ruthless aggression era figures, and that was something that I was worrying about if it was only 2 lines. So the fact that it's 6, maybe even more, I'm looking forward to all of this. And we saw Wave 2 at WrestleMania Access, and that RVD, I need all of them. Chef's kiss. Yeah. I will say the peak of the ruthless aggression, pitchforks and torches was at a time when there was the most ever. Like if you do a count of the figures, the elite figures that came out that year, the ruthless aggression era was by far better represented than any other era, including Golden. So it was really bizarre to me that it was so vocal in that moment in time, because I did the math and I'm like, there's a hell of a lot more RA figures than anything else. So, but I knew this was on the horizon anyway. So, it's just a matter of time before the announcement.
Yeah.
And some of these ruthless aggression era figures are going all the way back and being almost a tribute to the Jax line of the RVD, for example, pops into mind. Is this going to be going forward within the line as well? Can we expect to see those old Jax attires that we've seen?
Some will, it's not a rule across the whole line, but it's a fun nod, right, for longtime fans. Some will have completely new, unexpected accessories. I just saw some sculpt work on an unexpected accessory this past week, and can't even believe the idea was occurred to do it. So it's going to be really fun and exciting. So you'll see new executions, you'll see throwback things. So it's really like, if you love RA, whether it's toy form or the era itself, there's going to be something here for you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I'm a sucker for the accessories. I remember buying those RA figures and just being so happy that I had a tire or a chair that had the face print coming through, and it was like, now I have bins full
like,
of
I
them.
need that.
Yes, the ring bell. We need ring bells. We need silly stuff like that. It just adds
That's
to
great.
the overall lore of our whole collection, you know.
And I think the last ring bell that came out, not in one of those like international bundles, was with a Zack Ryder Dolph Ziggler battle pack.
Oh my
So
god!
it's been a long time.
You know, when I
my
think
God.
of ring bell, and I think you're more along of my line, Steve. I always think of Savage and Steamboat
Oh yeah,
driving the ring bell into his throat.
yeah.
It's just a moment that stands out in my mind. But I think Mike has a toy in the attic he wants to show you. Let's get to that real quick. All right.
My favorite theme song here at the Tavern. So I was digging through my ridiculous collection of things, and I found this carded Bendham's Just Toys Sting, and I was just so happy to pull it out. Like, the card is destroyed. I mean, that's nowhere near mint. It's peeling a little bit, but like, look at the back of that. I love the old cartoon drawings of them, and which falls in line with the Superstars. I love that the Superstars have like that cartoon aesthetic in the back with this like little card here. I'm loving the Superstars line, but this is such a random Sting. I mean, look at the names on the back of this. You got Butch Reed, you got Ron Simmons, Brian Pillman, the Steiners, Tom Zenk.
On there.
When can we get a Tom Zenk Elite? That's what I'm looking for.
Did the Butch Reed come out in Bendham form? Did it actually see release?
This whole series is definitely out there.
That's
in the
amazing.
wild.
I didn't even know. I didn't think Butch had a figure, and I think sometimes people don't consider Bendham's figures, but they totally count.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I love like the favorite holds is the Scorpion Deathlock and the Stinger Splash. The Stinger Splash wasn't even a hold. Sting's motto is "We're having fun now." It's awesome, man. It's just a blast from the past.
He said that to that day.
His favorite holds. Just Toys was wild, man. Non-toxic. We're looking at some fun stuff. I'm
great.
with Magic. Bring the dirty mattress back. I love the dirty
mattress. Oh,
man.
Maybe we give it to Rock, right? Because that was his story. He had to get a dirty mattress when he was playing in the CFL.
Oh, my goodness. I would love it. Yeah, that was my little toy in the attic. Right I was digging around. I was like, oh, I have this laying up here. It's good stuff.
How are you liking the major bendies?
I got
you know what? I haven't bought into them yet, but I will when Danhausen goes up for sale.
I'll get anything Danhausen. Like,
it's
crazy.
They look great. I think the packaging's awesome. I love the logo. I love the aesthetics of it. See the the bubble's a little bit big.
Open it and take it out, and then it's just
like that,
and nobody knows you opened it.
Yeah. I love that execution. Once again, packaged, meant to be kept. My favorite part is actually the artwork at the top. It's so good. The throwback artwork, it's perfection.
Cardona doing the bend, it's great.
Yep. That's
I like the talent they signed on for them.
I go back to the LJN bendies. I still have them from when I was a kid. I still have my original ones. But I have my eye out on getting that ring with the steel cage. I need to get that back into my collection. I had it as a kid. I have a picture of me with it. But I need to go out and get that again to add to my collection now.
I only had JYD, and I liked him because he had the chain sculpted on, like, around his torso. Yeah. So I had my huge box of full-size LJNs, and then JYD, tiny JYD thrown into there as well.
There was a time where sizing was not an issue for us.
Right.
We'd be like, oh, this junkyard dog is perfect to fight this 12-inch Hulk Hogan LGN. They're the best, man. But yeah, no, I think the major guys are doing wonders with everything they're creating right now. Even Zombie Sailor, keeping the retro spirit alive. I think they're going to go great with the retros that you guys are producing, and it only makes more fuel for collectors to want to buy the retros as well as the Zombie Sailor toys. It's a good balance of things where you like, oh yeah, well, if I get Don Morocco from this guy, like, I need to get the rest of this. I want Mean Gene in the retro form so he could interview my Danhausen, and I love it, man.
Yeah, I love that there's a more avenues now for basically all talent to have figures and merchandise made. It's really great for those guys because just having one company kind of hold the keys to the kingdom and making that things happen can be frustrating at times, because a lot of these guys are beloved, right? And it's like we're getting frustrated at fans for waiting for our favorites to have moments in the spotlight and get some figures or merch or bendies out. So, very, excited, and hats off to everyone who's doing their work to get some merch money coming their way to these talents.
Yeah, I mean, even Cella Toys, they just made that really awesome atom bomb in the glow in the dark one, which is so cool looking.
Toys,
yeah, I love the possibilities and everything going on here, and like it's like we're all on the same side of the fence as opposed to people clashing and like, no, you guys can't do that because we're doing it. It's like, no, let's do it all together and make it big and possible. And more characters, more fun for all of us.
I mean, hey, look, there's a business side of things, right? And I'm speaking as a fan here today with you guys. There's things you have to do from a business perspective to protect your space and blah blah blah, right? But at the end of the day, like, and I think we may have mentioned this to each other before, like a few years away from now, like this will end and we're going to be like, oh my God, what a time that was, 2019 through whenever. Like, I can't believe it. I can't believe what we got in that time frame. And now it's over. Like it's going to happen, right? Everything is cyclical, and it'll stop and then it'll start again, 10 years down the road after that. But we're going to look at this moment in time years from now and be like, wow, like this could be one of the greatest times for wrestling figures ever.
I've been thinking about wrestling as well, even today. Like there's been so much Mike's got me completely into the indies, so I'm like all into the indies. There's AEW, there's WWE, there's so much to choose from, and there's like such a great back catalog as well. You got the network, and you have other networks like this as well, even on Fight TV. It's great to go back and on, like you said, wrestling figures. There's no better time than this. I think Manny said it best in the chat. He said, best time to be a collector. A few years ago, this wasn't possible. So it's crazy to see, and we're living in a great time. And invest, man. Buy all the figures you want to buy right now, because later down the line, who knows how much they'll be going for,
I'm kicking myself. I waited for some. I always wanted to get LJN's Minton package, a collection going there. A couple of Hasbros I'm missing, and some other things like the Jumbo Hulk and the Jumbo Roddy. And the prices were stable for so long. It just made me think whenever I'm ready, I could just get them, and I didn't pull the trigger. And now it's like they're just like
that happened to me yesterday.
Yeah. And now a lot of that stuff is like practically unattainable,
Yeah.
It's funny, like even with that Andre the Giant, the Mattel one with the giant machine head. Like I wanted two, I got one, and like 2 months later I went to look for it and it was like $100. I'm like,
Yep. So some weird things happen, when the pandemic started, and some of these new figures that were hitting, like a month later, it was like $80, $100, and we're like, "What is going on here?"
The pandemic is actually what made me get back into collecting as well. Maybe not the best time because of all the price jumps, but like that era is when I just got right into everything again. So but
we're in such a boom between wrestling and wrestling figures. It's exciting. It makes me broke weekly and daily. And, we all go through that, and it's like, okay, I got to budget money so I could order this set this weekend and that set next week. But it's fun. It's getting those packages in the mail. You can't wait to get that package. It's just such a fun time, and it's great to be able to share this now. Like, and really, the major pod group is what I really helped bring us all together online. I feel.
Definitely.
They were a catalyst. They were absolutely a catalyst for this era that we're in. Because I mean, it was small pockets of groups before that, you know what I mean? And they really like tied it all together in a nice package. And everything exploded, and then circumstances, right? Another major company starting, and other toy companies getting in on it, and independent toy companies getting in on it. And it's just like, perfect storm, with some significant, catalyst moments.
Speaking of the perfect storm, got elite. This is hot off the press. Is Elite 100 Nick Storm.
Oh, you had one stolen from the factory? That was a Comic-Con reveal.
Damn it!
Look, we'll get you back around for Comic-Con, and we'll do the whole thing again.
Steve, we can't thank you enough for coming and spending time with us again. We love having you on and chatting with you. It means the world to us. The people always hearing you. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure, guys. You know, we chat in DMs all the time and comments and whatnot. And, you know, it's a crazy life, this toy business. But anytime I could take a moment and chat with like fellow collectors, it's a good time for me.
I don't know. We absolutely appreciate it, man.
It's great to chat to you again. Yeah, hopefully you come around. Let's get you on around for Comic-Con, seriously, so we can talk about the Nick Storm. But more importantly, and everything going down there.
If you're willing to come back on and talk about, you know, that weekend, we'd love to have you back.
Come to Comic-Con. I mean, that's not me offering free tickets,
yeah.
but
I mean, if you offered a free plane ticket, I'd be there already. But
I would love to go to Comic-Con.
But we'll figure something out. Of course, I'm always game for you guys. It's just a scheduling thing, and we'll make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect,
absolutely.
man.
Chris Metzger shouting me out. Great show, Steve. Absolutely. Always a great show when you're on. And we appreciate you guys, and we appreciate the Jaspers team. We appreciate the Mattel team.
Appreciate
we love wrestling things, man. We love all of you guys so much. I appreciate you.
Hey, and I appreciate all the people watching as well. If you're watching at home on the big screen in a cinema somewhere, you have this video up playing live. God bless you, because no one's doing that. But thank you everyone for chatting in here. Steve, thank you. Tom, thank you. Mike, thank you. You know what? Give all the thanks.
Yes. Yeah. And guys, make sure to follow Steve on Twitter and Instagram at Action Figure Attack.
Yeah.
He's just a great dude. You can follow us. Go to theturnbuckletavern.com. All of our links are there. Thank you for joining us tonight, guys. Until next week, love, peace, and pro wrestling.